Hello, it is Conversations for Restoration, Sojourn Psychology with Tara and Lena.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, so Lena, we are dear friends and colleagues, caregiving psychologists, and one of
Soul sisters.
and soul sisters. And one of our favorite things, we talk very well about spiritual things,
Yes, we
um,
do.
and benefit each other's mental health because we're kind of good at talking about I don't know, faith, spirituality. What do we talk about?
We talk about everything: humanity, spirituality, faith, what's happening in the world, and how we can make it better.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm curious. I've learned so much from you about myself um as a person and as a spiritual person, as well. Just been benefited by our friendship. But what do you think? Like how so when we how do you identify as a spiritual person? Let's start there.
So when people ask me, what is let's go with the belief system. We all have belief system, right? So belief system goes from, we could believe in higher power, we could believe in religious scriptures, believing in something other than what we could see. So then it comes to religion. Religion is, we have a lot of it, but religion brings a lot of politics into it, right?
Yeah.
Unhealthy. From my perspective, the reason we bonded, if I could recall, for me, religion is a beautiful thing. But every religion is a beautiful thing. Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Zoroastrianism, they're all beautiful. There's no malice. It's like my belief system, okay, I'm sort of a mixed bag of family. Again, when people ask me, what is your belief? Like, we have everybody in my family. My parents were born Hindus, but their belief is Sufi. So we were brought up going to temple, going to mass, and then my siblings got married to Catholics and everybody. So then we started doing church. I went to
Sunday school?
Sunday school because that's what when I was studying in India, it's a private school, it's Christian school, Catholic school, it's a Sunday school, they taught you. But for my family, so I have to talk about how our family, we don't discriminate because we don't have like perfect, this is how you're supposed to believe. I was taught there's one God from our spiritual Sufi leaders. There's one God. We have like any path that goes Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism, Islam. They're all going to the same, it's a 4 different paths going to the same market or same place. So you just need to pick whatever's going to work for you.
I love that. And I like the idea of a market. There's something in that that's more whimsical and exciting. And because people say all roads lead to Rome, but this idea of these different paths coming to the market and what do we do at the market? There's something about food, there's something about meeting up.
Mhm.
I think that's beautiful. And I guess when you are raised in a home and you have 10 siblings.
I have 9 older siblings.
So 9 older siblings. You
Yeah.
live in a home with all this spiritual diversity,
Mm-hmm.
all these different belief systems. It really depathologizes.
Yeah, I think that's a good word. So I remember my mom when I was little in Sri Lanka. That's where I was born, raised in India. But when I was little, I have this memory. My mom will take me to our Sufis to listen to the discourse.
Mm.
Like I was her little thing, that because I was the youngest. So either every Sunday or some, like she will be sitting and this beautiful old man will be talking. In my little young head, I thought he was my grandfather because he looked like, my dad. And that's how, like, and when I grew older, and he in 80s, he eventually moved to US in Philadelphia. That's where he lived rest of his life from 80s. And we moved to India. And when we came back to Canada in 90s, then we started go to Philadelphia to his Sufi. It's the same way that how my mom, we make a family trip to go to his mazar. We do all the things that's brought back memory of when I was little. But in my household, if you ask, we celebrate Diwali, we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate Eid, and it's the same passion. So for me, when there's religious disharmony happening, it's extremely confusing for my brain. And sometimes it's still, even though
Yeah.
I am mature, lived in this world long time, and it's still very, very heartbreaking when I see in the name of different beliefs. And we always keep forgetting we're all going to the same place.
Yeah. There's one God. We
Yep.
all believe in the same God.
Yep.
And the religious disharmony there,
Yeah.
wow, there's a term.
Yeah.
And how healthy it is to be confused and to be hurt by religious disharmony.
Yeah.
And here we live in this world that normalizes religious disharmony.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much so. Very confusing for my brain. And like I said, I'm a psychologist. I've been in working with humans for over 20 years. And I get really hurt by what's going on. For me, it doesn't, we're all the same. What belief we have is the same, because end of the day, you believe in higher power. I used to joke with everybody when people, it's like, so Christians has one heaven, Muslims have one heaven, Hindus have one heaven, Jews have one heaven, Zoroaster. So how many heavens are there in this sky, wherever you believe in?
Yeah. And if there's more than one, then do we have like some sort of bus to the other ones? Because I want to come over and get you to cook me food. I don't
But
want to just be on
apparently,
mine.
no. Do you know that? Apparently there's not. There's one heaven. If you ask people who truly believe their religious scripture is the right one, it could be Hinduism, it could be Judaism, it could be Zoroastrian, it could be Christianity and Muslims, but for them it's only one heaven.
There is only one.
But apparently everybody else don't have it. So isn't it, imagine when you're growing up in a household that religion doesn't matter. Everybody's the same.
Yeah. And
And then you come out and saying, huh? I am confused. Can you see why I'm so confused?
but you think too, it's like the childlike mystery. So being exposed to this, like the religious harmony, a home
Mhm.
that had religious harmony, the child like sort of wondering of like, how many heavens are there? Where in a home where a child is raised to believe in religious disharmony, there's only one heaven, and I guess only my people are going. So, which is a terrible, terrible disorganizing belief.
And also, I met many people who are extremely harmed by religious, like extremely, not by other, their own belief,
Yes.
abused by their own belief. We are not talking about, I'm talking to a Catholic or Christian uh, who got abused by Muslim religion.
No.
No, no. It's like that's what hurting more than the opposite. We, from my, like I said, we can only go from our perspective, like my perspective of looking around the spirituality, meaning you believe in God, you believe in goodness, you believe in wanting to be a good human being, not hurt anybody.
Yeah, it's
Doing it
interesting.
well.
and I remember having a conversation with one of our friends' husbands who's very beautiful Muslim, and we were talking about our church hurt. That's what my
Mhm.
people call it. And I was like, bro, I like, were we raised in the same home? Like just the same that, and it was again this beautiful corrective epiphany for me of like how similar I could feel hurt by my religious upbringing beside my brother who's a Muslim and his religious upbringing. And I was like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
And you and I care greatly about the people who are hurt by their own religion.
Yeah.
We see them in our offices
See
and
them in our personal lives.
in our personal lives. And maybe can we talk a little
Yeah.
bit about we have this unbelievably powerful story that we shared.
Mhm.
So so you have this great friend.
Yeah.
And how do you tell the story of how this friendship began for you? And we're not going to say their name.
No. So well, then we have to start with how I met you.
Yeah, let's about all the miracle of our divine friendship.
So all of my life, I lived since I moved to Canada in the 90s, like 1990. Well, I born in Sri Lanka, raised in India, moved to Canada. So it's already, I come from a very liberal, unusual family, let's put it that way. Okay. And then I lived in Ontario, Toronto, proud Toronto girl, all my life. Then by chance, one of my best friends who moved to Edmonton in her 20s, like to do her master's and PhD, and she settled there. And I was looking for a change about in 2021 after my parents passed away 2016 and 2018. So I think I was looking for a change. So I had this opportunity or forced opportunity by one of my best friend who said that it would be an amazing place to work is surgeon psychology because he used to work and he's leaving to open his own practice. And he said I would really well fit in with this owner of surgeon psychology because he knows me for a very long time.
And
So
he stole your best friend. That's why she moved to
well, yeah, they're
Edmonton.
still my best friends, pretty much. He stole my best friend. So
And we can say who that is. This is Dr. Ellis Chan, who is amazing psychologist in
and
Edmonton. If
still
he's a
he.
darling, he's amazing.
So, long story short, I actually went to Edmonton, or I sent my resume to this woman he highly spoke of. I already had an
It's me.
that was Miss Tara. I already had amazing job as a neurofeedback coordinator and a therapist and a mentor and a psychotherapist. Lena was busy. I went to surgeon psychology as supervised practice,
Yeah.
provisional psychologist.
Yeah.
I left my whole family, all of my friends, everybody that I know since I was a teenager, packed everything up
Left
because
Toronto, came to
left
Alberta.
because when I had my interview with Tara, I think I fell in love with Tara, actually. That's probably why. So I met, and Tara introduced me to a psychologist to do a multicultural counseling class
Lecture. You did
lecture at
somehow randomly. A colleague that I didn't know reached out asking for somebody who had a long resume of experience of multicultural diversity, a diverse person. They didn't want a white person. And I was like, well, I have this lady coming that has tons of experience. And she's like, yeah, sure. So she didn't really know me. she definitely didn't know Lena. And she's like, yes, come bring Lena to lecture at the University of Alberta to the doctorate of psychology students. This is another miracle. This is like wild that this happened.
That was amazing. When I met the psychologist and we become friends, and one day she reached out and said, hey, I'm getting together with a couple of my one of the her friends. I live downtown, they're coming downtown, and she said, I really want you to come out so you can meet my friend or my friends. So I go into this restaurant, and the psychologist that who introduced me wasn't there, but this beautiful, regal looking woman was sitting there, and she looked at me because I like color. I wore a colorful dress that summer. She goes, you must be Lena. And we started talking, and you will not believe, I thought I known her forever. Like that person, I walked into her life, or she walked into my life. For the last couple of years, she and I become literal. I can't even explain what we are. We are sisters. We become the best of friends. And slowly, when I started to get to know this person, because she lived literally close by me, and a year later, she moved into my building. So we become really good. And then I found out all the religious abuse she
Yeah.
had. She was in a really not a good
A very rigid Christian
Christian,
home
very
or
rigid.
group.
Yeah, very rigid. And she left it. She
Mhm.
called it not my word, it's her word. It's a cult. So she started to educate me on like what that means. And she was confused how open I am about believing in God. And I got no problem with any religion. And she become disbeliever, even though she was brought up only her sect is going to heaven, everybody else is going to hell, or whatever it may be. And she would stopped believing.
Which is damaging for our psychological health when we forfeit our belief system. So
Yeah.
belief systems are central to mental wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is she got ill, really ill, and the doctors couldn't do anything. I become her only family because she does not want to do anything with her biological family, who was very abused. Well,
Well,
religious abuse and other abuse.
yeah.
So she couldn't, her ailment is extreme, that her pain, she chose to go with M.A.I.D.
And the doctor approves. So this is, if you're
Oh,
not
yeah.
in Canada, M.A.I.D is medical assisted death.
Death, yeah. And then
And so she fit criteria, and I mean it's not easy to fit the
it
criteria
was
for M.A.I.D.
very rigorous process.
Yeah.
Like extremely, and it is extremely hard to get approved for M.A.I.D, especially in Alberta.
Yeah.
And Alberta, Ontario has a very strict, extremely strict process to get approved.
Yeah. And part of it too, so just I want to scoop some up and then you can keep telling, is like she had the psychological pain and then the physical pain and deterioration. She had a lack of support system, and her person moved.
Yeah.
Lena had to go back to Toronto. And I think, when did you go back? Was it December?
December first week.
Yeah. So this is December 2024.
24. So I was back, and she calls me and tells me in January that as soon as I was leaving, she applied for the process, and she got approved after I came back. And they gave, in 90 days, they gave her a date from the day she applied. So she went through it. That was a really, really good way for she went. But she gave me permission, even though she is not religious person, even though she didn't believe in God, because she gave me, and she wanted me to, when I explained, if I could do a ceremony, if I could take her
Yeah.
bromide, if I could, and did, she did that for me, I know. She said, so she gave me permission before she passing to do my the way we do end of life service or afterlife service.
Mhm.
She was not going to do it because it's not her belief.
No, and I think too, it's like you treated her and her spiritual beliefs, or whatever she would call them, her belief system, with dignity and respect. Because when you were in Toronto, she's here, she calls and tells you, and
Yeah,
you wanted to be with her. I'm like, and she did not want you here.
she did not. She told me because the way I saw her last, we had a blast of last month. She was, getting better and all that, but she was deteriorating quite fast. And she wanted to be alone. But I was there with her on the phone 30 minutes before the process was done.
Yeah. So she let you,
Talk
she,
to me.
and I mean, with all the psychological pain she'd been through, because this is a person who was so isolated. It's huge, huge that she let you be there
Yep, that
on
was
the phone.
on the phone.
Yeah.
We talked every day until her process. But the biggest thing for me is she I've become her executor of her estate, like her remains mostly. So it was up to me to do whatever I can do with it, which is a huge deal for her. To do a religious ceremony, she didn't believe in God. And I explained to her, this is what our beliefs, this is what I do for my family. It's a process. We have to do certain
Yeah.
things, certain prayers. And that, I think, more than a privilege.
It was spectacular. So and you found out about her, and then you talked to a couple, like one of our other spiritually wise friends, Tanya, and then
Mhm.
you got a hold of me,
Mhm.
and you were sort of, what do I do? And then when you leaned into this conversation with your friend, um and somehow you started like trying to, because the person that dies, there's a dead body.
Yeah.
So you guys started to talk about what to do with her actual, like her remains.
Yeah. Because she already decided she doesn't want to anything.
Yeah.
So she wanted to be cremated because she also donated most of her organ. Um, So when I spoke to her about it, and she said, I asked her, like, okay, can I do this? And I picked a place. I said, I have a perfect place that I can take your ashes. Because when I moved to Edmonton, we had conference in Canmore. And first time I went to Canmore, and I literally fell in love with the particular spot is the mountain meets the river.
Yeah.
And it has a beautiful
Yeah.
bridge on it. I had this perfect photo, and I know she liked when she was well and younger. She like went to the mountains a lot, but she grew up with the mountains. Like she's originally from BC, so mountains. When I showed her the photo, and then she goes, "That is her place."
Yeah.
She could not believe that I had a pot that made her feel like she likes the mountain. She wants to look at the mountains and the river runs through.
A place to rest, that she felt like she could rest there.
Mhm. and you tell the rest of it.
So I'll tell some and then I'll
Mm.
get you to come back in. But it's so I was then gonna be in Canmore
Mm-hmm.
in May, and we were like, it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
And we had thought, we have a couple other spiritualized friends, that there'd be this group of us, but it turned out that it didn't work for anybody else. And so you came into town and got the ashes, and we're doing some of the state things, took the bus down to Canmore,
Mm-hmm.
and I was dead on my feet because I had just run the theology summit. I was like, I was dead that night.
Yes,
And
you were.
I was like, I was catatonic that night when you came. But we had a great supper.
We did have an amazing
It
supper.
was so good. So then my brain stopped working, and I had felt responsible, like, find the perfect place, find the perfect place. And we were kind of like, and I was like trying to formulate like all of this like
I think
big
because we
production.
forgot where we were going to do it.
Well, and I don't really know that I even knew for sure, but I was
Maybe
like
we
racking.
forgot. Yeah. Yeah, I think I have probably it was in my head. I didn't tell you. It's just me and Jennifer, my friend who
Yeah.
spoke about it.
So then
Um,
when we got slow and got
mhm.
it practicing presence and not making a big whole ordeal, then all of a sudden we both thought of the bridge,
Mhm.
the same spot.
The same spot I told her that's where I will be going, which I forgot with all the grief. Because when I said this is,
Yeah,
I was going to. But again, I was after the fact, I was thought about it, and my friend does not like big ceremonies. She doesn't like a lot of
no.
people. So it was just me and you made it perfect because I think that's the one way she wanted it.
And it was really like it was so powerful because it was you just being a, a bigger, stronger, wiser other with your friend. And then you and I and our openness,
Mhm.
how we just hold our belief systems beside each other. You didn't try to influence her belief system, and then she felt safe to let her family
Yeah.
be with her, which is you. And then I kind of got to be
But
almost like pastor or something. Like I was like,
but the thing is, I brought in the things from my Sufi belief to
yeah,
the last rite.
yeah,
And I was going to read it, but my brain wouldn't
yeah.
let it. And it was beautiful to hear you do the ceremony. And then when you did from your beliefs, like in Christianity, there was no difference.
No, so the liturgy that I got to read, the Sufi
Mhm.
liturgy, and you gave it to me. And
Mhm.
again, I was not in my own way. This is what my friend trusts and asked me to read at this funeral. And I had such a divine encounter with that liturgy because he writes and he talks about like in our grief and the mucus. And
Mhm.
it was just like I had all of this congestion and tension in my body from everything I'd done. And so just for me,
Mhm.
leaning into participating with you and your faith and supporting your belief system, um, it was this beautiful like spiritual cleansing from a liturgy I would have never known.
Yeah. So that's how there's no division in religion, in my belief.
Yeah,
Doesn't it just, it came in my belief system, or it came in a different stages of the world.
yeah,
Hinduism's been there thousands of years. Then Zoroastrianism showed up, and it's a different, but if you really look at the teaching of everything, Bhagavad Gita or Torah or Bible or, Quran, it's the same.
it
That's
is.
my belief, right? But it's also different time frame in the world it came. It's just stages and different
Yeah,
languages. Just because it's different languages and different part of, well, three religions, the same part of the world, but you know, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam is exactly the same part of the world. We just
exactly. And they overlap, like
overlaps. But
totally.
what again, coming back to the belief, religious belief or spiritual belief, it's end of the day, I always ask people, do you believe in God? If you believe in God, there's, in my understanding, is there's only one. You can go from the path of Hinduism, you can go from the path of Judaism, you can go from the path of Christianity or Islam. But end of the day, we are all humans. We are all human. Just because we look different, we speak different, we have different languages, we eat different food, that mean nothing. End of the
It's
day, we are humans and one God. Then
yeah, and
we are one, yeah, aren't we?
we're the human collective, and that is a very Christian belief, is that we are one, there is one body.
Mm-hmm.
And inclusive love and all these things. And like I think for you and I, with the passing of your best friend, this best friend Lena's got like a bajillion best friends.
Yeah, I do actually.
I might be the favorite one though, I'm just
Yes,
saying.
of course.
Um
You're up there too.
I'm up there,
You're up
I'm up
there.
there. But with the passing, like we were to me, the tragedy of this loss
That's, yeah.
is the like how, like in the Christian will talk about this word deconstructing, and when people have so much trauma and it happens to have a spiritual tone to it,
Yeah.
and then they overcorrect into this other place, the unresolved. And I
Mhm.
was like, I felt like there was a huge element of this loss and deconstructing into like assisted suicide.
Yeah, it's because until 21, maybe say until 18, she was extremely abused in that belief system.
Yeah.
Like really, really.
And
And
it's not just her having viewed it as a cult. I think a lot of other people would have viewed her sect as a cult. So
mhm.
then how do you know that you can go get psychological health? How do you know how to talk about it with
No,
people? And you and I in this conversation, so many people don't know that I can sit and talk to Lena and love her belief system. And I can still love me and love my belief system.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just it's heartbreaking.
Mm.
Um, and it didn't have to be that way for her.
That is the thing. It didn't have to be that way.
And thank God,
Mm-hmm.
thank Jesus that you were there.
Of course. God's everywhere, if you believe it, right?
Yeah.
It sounds very out there when I say, hey, I love all religion. It always sounds be out there, and I'm a little cuckoo. But for me, I'm a psychologist. I want anybody who comes into my therapy room, I don't care what you are, what belief system you are. I want to work from that perspective. You believe in dragon, you believe in Jesus, you believe in Allah, you believe in, Shiva, I don't care.
It's a God that you know, it's the word that you use.
Hmm. But I do know I'm not that naive. There's a lot of political implication when it comes to religion. It's just like politics, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is just like believing in your political views.
Yeah.
And it could get really, really, you get you tangled up.
Yes. It tangled up, and that is where like purgatorio is parallel, or some will call it
Mhm.
psychoanalysis, and that's what we do. We live in the untangling. We're in the
And
business of the untangling, and that's not just emotion, that's not just thought, that's also soul, that's
yeah.
also body. And
Hmm.
I wonder with your dear friend too, if her psychological pain and spiritual pain wasn't so great, Could her
Mm.
physical body have had more healing?
Oh, I believe that, like, because her faith,
Yeah.
she couldn't have faith in anything anymore.
No. And then there's these catastrophic experiences where people
Yeah,
say, I can't believe this belief system anymore, and the families completely cut that person off.
yeah.
So
Like,
I don't
they
have
didn't
God and I
exist
don't
for
have
her.
a mother. I don't
Yeah.
have,
Anybody.
yeah,
And it is a very scary place to be.
yeah,
When you're smart, when you're beautiful, but you can't, when someone you are supposed to keep you safe didn't, and what they were taught and what the culture that person grew up teaching you, if you don't believe in this, we are rejecting you. That means God's going to put you to hell. But I'm going to tell you something funny though. Just a week before her procedure for her maid, my friend, well, she's hilarious. Well, her black humor and mine goes very well. She said, we were talking about something, I can't remember what, but what I could remember, she goes, for one, oh, I know what you're talking about. I said, when you go to heaven, you're gonna have a nice mom and dad because my parents are gonna wait for you.
yeah,
And then she goes, I know I'm going to heaven because she said, I've been a very good human being. I never hurt anybody, which I know. See, that's what for me made it. I was like, she still have that belief. She said, if there's a heaven, I am going. I'm like, yes,
yeah,
you are. And she was, I think that the time she was at peace of saying, hey, my parents are going to be there because I know they are in heaven. And it's only one heaven. So when you go, you're going to be there. But her saying, I'm a good person, that's her. I realized that's her belief because she's always been a good person.
yeah. And that's that I am, what's so bad about me is the
Yes, yeah.
corrective epiphany. That is a
Mhm.
better truth. That is spiritual wisdom, is there's nothing
Mhm.
so bad about anybody that anybody is separated. And if we're lost, it's because we belonged.
Yeah,
Um, and she remembered her belonging.
she did remember her longing towards the end.
Yeah, and because she belonged to you as well. Like she belonged to you, and that did something healing for her.
I love to believe that, and I do believe because you're the one who said, the reason I came because I really did needed to come to Edmonton to do that because I had a perfectly, well, great life.
Yeah,
But for me to make that choice, but meeting her,
yeah,
yes, and becoming that close. I know I'm a people person. I like people. So I collect people and I keep them. I don't usually let go of the people that I collect. And it was really hard to let go of her.
it was, and I think it was again the twinship transference for us, the similarity in age,
Yeah.
the 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 mystery of why were you here and how did you meet her, and like
Mhm.
all of this stuff for you and I, and it was um gut wrenching
Yeah.
because M.A.I.D is really hard to understand as well.
Very hard. But when you are in that kind of pain
Yeah,
and no one chooses to unless they don't want unable to suffer anymore. In her situation, she was suffering so much, like so much. Nothing was helping. But she was a brave human being. She put on an excellent face because I am her family and I was there and I dragged her to places, all the things I think I refused to see, and I realized how I refused to see her. I keep hoping she's getting better. especially when I decided to move back home, I was hoping she's going to be okay. I think I realized, honestly, convinced myself that she will be okay. She's going to get so much better and we're going to be friends rest of our lives. Well, we were. Until she, but
And she's better than okay now. She's
she's
okay in a way is
we haven't,
unfathomable.
but that's what it is, the suffering about me. I know there's quite a lot of people do not agree, but I'm not one of them. Even though I believe in God and I know, we put on this earth, that's like I said, my belief, right? Like it's not anybody else's, for a purpose. You're going to find yourself. You're going to do service as much as you can to humanity and be the best version and go back home to God.
Well, and like, what does a person in that position need?
Yeah.
Does she need somebody to tell her she's wrong? Does she need somebody to tell her she's going to hell because
Mhm.
this is the medicine that
Mhm.
she believes she needs?
Mhm. But, for me, that's coming back to connecting psychology or therapy and religion. Religion is a religious belief, believing God is, there's a lot of research done. It's a healing. But when we take it into a different aspect, making it into things that is mine and
Yeah.
yours, then it become poison because we lose what is actually mean by believing in a scripture or believing in God. It goes into, again, like harming humanity, and
Yeah.
what is the point?
Well, and it's religion. It like, is it like the harmony, the healing
Mhm.
aspect of faith practice or belief system is inner harmony.
Yeah.
And so nonviolence is really
Mm.
important
Yeah.
in our belief system.
In like for Sufi, that's pretty
Yeah.
much it. You don't even like from my Sufi belief or my family Sufi belief, you don't even eat animals. It goes into the Hinduism of not harming any. So 90% of my family's pure vegetarian because of the belief system. I'm not, you know, I dabble in eating seafood,
Yeah.
but here it is. So belief is end of the day. Imagine this is also, it's not from me, it's from our teaching from our sheikh.
Yeah.
If you take a black person, if you take a white person, if you take a brown person, if you take purple person or a green person, so we have all these persons because it's all color, right? So we take the first layer, the skin. You know how we all look? The same.
Yeah.
It's just a pigment, Tara.
Yeah.
So we take the first layer of the skin and we put all these people. There's absolutely no difference. There's no color. The skeletal system is exactly the bloody same.
Yeah. Well, and if you leave the muscle on, we're all just red, actually. Like, if
Yeah,
you go
that's
to
what I'm saying.
body worlds, have you ever gone to
So
that?
that's what I'm saying. Like the muscle, like that is no difference.
Mm-hmm.
So we are fighting for the outer skin. So nobody's going deep in.
Well, and the research on valuing skin color, the study is racist. Like, that is what it's called, racist
Yeah.
theories. Okay, so that's where the word comes from, and it was bad research. Like, I just read a whole book for one of my courses on it called The History of White People. Man, that
Oh my God, you would
research
have sent me the
is,
author.
I will. Nell, her first name is Nell. And honestly, it's like the most beautiful book, Nonviolent Protest, I've ever read, because it's just like, let's just look at the research. Here's the history of the bad research and why I call it bad research. I don't agree with racism, so it'd be easy to call it bad research. It's just poorly constructed studies, poorly constructed hypotheses, and magical thinking
Mhm.
to reinforce the bad hypotheses. Like
Ah,
it's just terrible research is where all these series came from. It's ridiculous.
but it's yeah. So where are you going with this?
But we were talking about skin color, but I think it's to the politics of it
The
is
politics
so
of
the religion and the politics, like you're saying. And so then we just assume somebody is a
it.
certain way. Or
Yeah.
if I've met one Muslim person, I've met them all. Or if I've met
Yeah.
one Sufi, or if I Lena is my Lena, and sometimes my Jasmine and my Tanya are like, that's just Lena. You gotta remember that's Lena.
I
And
grew up in a very different household.
yeah, because you're just you, and I can't compare
Yeah.
you to some other Sufi or some other
Mhm.
um Southeast Asian Canadian, you know.
It's unfortunate, isn't it? Well, again, I am privileged. That's
It is unfortunate that everybody's not like you. You're right.
like
It's so unfortunate everybody's not like Lena. And I can't compare you to any other Gen Xer either.
no,
Like there's
I
all the
am. I don't know. You know what? I was actually talking to one of my clients yesterday. We were talking about Golden Girls. And do you know the Golden Girls, right? Like sometimes I'm Sophia. I am the like dirty mouth old woman who tells it how it is. Or sometimes, she's the mother for everybody. Sometimes I'm the grandmother. Sometimes I'm the sister in my therapy room. You know, I think was able to be flexible. I think it's due to how I view my belief in God. So for me, everybody is the same. Like I am so privileged to grow up understanding what Sufism means to
yeah.
me, understanding everybody is the same. Or your belief, I am not going to disregard you because you don't believe or pray the same way that I pray.
We don't have to cut people off
We don't need to cut people off.
for being different. And I think when I started to heal in my spiritual self and then my psychological self, and I let go of believing that I had to believe the same to belong.
Mhm.
And I can just be my weird self in my weird relationship with God and my weird relationship with other people.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to call God by a proper
And-
term for a long I didn't for a long time.
Mm,
And that was okay. I was loved and accepted just the way I was.
there you go. That's what it is, because that's what I
Yeah.
learned growing up in Canada, growing up in a different culture, and trying to navigate Canadian culture and my family culture and my culture. We have family culture, right? Like family culture is very different than even
Yeah.
culture. So I had so many different culture thrown at me. Bless you.
Thank you.
And then, you know, growing up in Toronto, like in GTA, you literally have everybody from every walks of life. I went to a high school and university that literally you got everybody. You got Chinese people, you got Vietnamese, Thai, French, people from overseas, people from like you grew up, it's like, oh, look, everybody is the girl who coming from India. You saw one purple. Everybody looked like you. Everybody spoke the same language. And
Yeah.
to a culture, I was like, whoa, that was cultural shock.
Yeah. Yeah. And the culture, I think too, this is where the psychological wisdom about trauma, we're so better at understanding traumas happen in different cultures. And so that's why we can have these different
Mhm.
nuances when we're discussing things
Mhm.
with your friend who we lost her to M.A.I.D.
Mhm.
Um, there was the culture of the family, there was the culture of the religion, there was the culture of being a divorcee. There was all these cultures of
Yeah.
pain.
And
And yeah,
culture, so that's I think it's made me a better therapist. Like for me, going through each experience in life adds to understanding of human pain, right? Like how much human pain do we see each day?
I think it was really important to me. And part of it, like a few years ago, we lost Dr. Sue Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
It was very painful for me because she's been so formative in who I am as a psychologist. And I don't know her. People often think I do, but I am mentored by her friends.
Mm-hmm.
One of her best friends, Gail Palmer, is one of my long-term mentors. Sue's death and Sue's funeral did something so healing for me because I used to believe uh, like there was some sort of trauma reaction or attachment reaction to people dying, and I didn't want to go. And I thought I didn't belong to be at people's funerals. It was just fear. It was rooted in fear and not in love.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Sue's legacy in my life and what healed in me in her passing and caring about being in the corporate space for passing,
Mm-hmm.
it was also a foundation for me to be with you and to support you when you were going through the pain of your friend disclosing this painful truth, to support you as you were like trying to support and help her navigate
Yeah,
how to lay her body to rest,
it
and
was
then to be with you at that moment.
yeah, it was a lot. And when she told me, and I can go back and say, she's, you know, she was not going to tell anybody but me.
Yeah.
So I convinced her she had a couple of friends, good friends that she needed to talk to about, because unfortunately her psychiatrist didn't support her decision, which was really heartbreaking for her, and it broke her heart. And that was her mental health therapist,
Yeah.
which is really unfortunate. And she told her other couple of friends, and she came back. She makes everything as a joke. She said, I knew you. You are the one. I knew when I told you, I know you are the only person in this world's going to understand me why I'm doing this, which was, I was shocked. I, she said, you are the only one who didn't cry and make me feel guilty for doing what I was doing. That broke my heart. So other people that I convinced you need to say is everybody was wailing and crying and saying, hey, there has to be other way, without understanding.
You
If
didn't make it
anybody
about
know my
you.
friend, yeah, if anybody knows her, she's one of the most brilliant people that I met.
Yeah.
She wouldn't even buy a pillow without doing atrocious amount of research. Buying a pillow.
Yeah.
How in the world that person is going to choose this path without doing atrocious amount of research?
But I think too, that's some of the spiritual wisdom that is maturity,
Mm.
is getting out of our own way. Like you weren't in your own way. You didn't have an agenda.
Mm.
And at any time in this whole process, you or like when I got to come along and support you, anytime agenda tried to crop up, it just kind of fell off.
It's also you when I called you crying my eyes out because I didn't cry with her, but
No,
I was bawling my eyes out.
you were ugly crying.
I was ugly crying. You were there when I told you this is what she decided to do. When
Yeah.
I spoke to my other friend, the one that introduced me to you, as his wife, I was crying. And
Yeah.
one of my friends here who are therapists, I was crying. The only person I didn't cry is with her.
Yeah. And if you would have cried, it wouldn't be about me crying. It would have been leaking, like it would have been, because that's it. Like if the tears just, maybe instinctively your body knew it would
And
be too much
I
for her.
think it will be because I know she feels guilty.
Yeah.
She's
She already
already
feels guilty.
heartbroken, already feeling guilty because I was studying for a huge exam here, and she's already felt guilty. She told me how guilty she felt. Why couldn't she do the process after I finished the exam?
I think she knew that she could not tell you, because one day you two will be together again on the other side, and she's like, I don't want to deal with her on the other side over this. She's gonna have superpowers there, and I don't want to deal with Lena.
But it's even until the end,
Yeah,
she was trying to not hurt anybody, but she said she was so much in pain she couldn't deal with it anymore.
yeah,
She said the only regret, so in her whole life, the only regret she had is she couldn't go out with me every single time that I asked when I was in Edmonton, because I make plans and she is unable because her body is unable and she's in pain. She goes, that is the only regret she had in her whole life right now. It's because all the places that I wanted her to go with,
yeah.
she couldn't. And again, it comes back to this is where I wish, everybody wishes, right? We are humans just because we are therapists and we are well into 20 plus years of in this field. We are not saying our ages because we are still 27.
I'm only, yeah,
27. That's all I am.
me too,
But
27.
yes, we are. But the whole thing is about how hurt she was by her family's belief system and her belief system. And that goes down to spirituality. What they weren't teaching spirituality, they were teaching rules.
And you were her true spiritual family, and that's that thing. It's like being family is a way better belief system than
Yeah.
being rule based. And like, we're attachment focused clinicians. When I teach parenting, the rules, there's no formula for parenting.
There's no
There
form.
isn't, because what works for my one child doesn't work for my other child. And the minute I have a rule that works, they developmentally change. It is being with, and it is being in the family with the child,
Yeah.
and the spiritual family.
Yeah. Spiritual family. That's what goes back to, again, I would say for you as a clinician and as a clinician, it
Yeah.
works, right? We take of course, our learning and our education, and then we fit it for the people who's sitting in front of us.
Yeah. And we're not allowed to convert anybody in our jobs anyhow. But that kind of helps us to think differently. I think that being a psychologist helped me to listen differently. And then my Muslim clients actually were some of the first experiences, or my Sikh clients, where I'd be like, oh, I like hearing you talk about these things. And then we just had this beautiful experience with diversity in our cohort of clinicians here. And we all just loved each other, and we all heard each other's different belief system language, and we were trying to fix it.
That's the word. I think we're not trying to fix it. And it's
No,
so as a clinician, we are not trying to fix our clients either because they're not
no,
broken.
they're
Why
not
do we need
broken.
to fix anything? They're there
We,
to share, right? So
yeah,
for me personally, spirituality, religious belief, and my being a clinician, they're all in the very similar. You accept everybody, but not in a naive way. You accept us, they are humans. Everybody's unique experience, even religious, right? Some people in my friends' religious system, they 110% truly believe right? But for them, that works because they believe. So it is healing for them. So we can go out and say, no, that's not. But when they actually believe and it's working for them,
Yeah.
keeping them safe, taking them places where they need to go.
I think too, it's like this, the old adage, if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. And if you teach a man to
Yeah.
fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life. But teaching, it's like, I'm going fishing with you. And
That,
with your friend, you didn't try to give her pat answers. You didn't just try to
no,
fix things. So the relationship was a place where when she needed a friend on the trail, when she needed to sit in a boat and talk about what was going on, she could sit with you and she could borrow some of your hope and she could think about
Mhm.
somebody wants to celebrate my life, so maybe I could let my life be celebrated one last time.
I think that's beautifully put. I think that's what she thought.
Yeah, and that's because you came alongside and you weren't fixing, you were being family, you were just being a friend on the trail.
I actually never thought about that. Thank you. Actually, that's if she was, well, she would agree with you. I know her enough to say she will agree.
And I mean too, because again, you're pescatarian, so of course fishing.
Exactly. I'm like, literally, I'm like, ooh, fishing, because we have a family trip out east coming up. Oh my, I'm already east. Like, we're out east, and we are
Yeah,
going to go fishing in the middle of the ocean.
I need a picture of you fishing because I believe that you fish, but I also can't picture you fishing. Like, do you wear heels when you're fishing? What do you wear when you're fishing, Lena?
I will take 100%. I will ask my sister to take a photo and I'm going to send it to you.
I
Will be, you know what? I might try to wear, I don't think they're going to let me into the boat before heels.
At least a fabulous hat. One of my favorite things when you travel is I get like the photo dump of like all these fabulous photos of Lena. I need pictures of you.
I will definitely have um, a whole new wardrobe.
Oh, love it.
Um,
Okay,
yeah.
let's wind this down here.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you want to say? What do we say as psychologists about like I think this is positive modeling is my experience, is my belief about why we're sharing this. What do you think as a psychologist?
See, this is what for me as a psychologist, my Sufi beliefs and my Hindu beliefs, and like I was taught until grade 7 in literally Christian taught all. And it is, for me, that's a model of how I don't see the negative about religion. I don't know, maybe I am naive in that model. I only see the positive. That doesn't go to say people who had such a negative impact. What I take out is only is look at everybody as your kin that you want to keep safe. That's what when you did the prayer for her, when we did the ceremony for my friend and when we let her ashes go down the river, for me, you reading from the scripture I gave you and you doing the prayer, I did not see a difference.
There was no difference and there was every difference.
Yeah.
It was yeah, it was a gift that we could have easily missed. All of the gift of all of this
Mhm.
story could have been missed.
Next, yeah. So for me, this conversation is a long time coming. And what's happening nowadays in this world, I think these kind of conversations you should happen more. It's because it's rooted in real. There's no negativity,
Yeah,
right? Sometimes hurt people, right? Not all
yeah,
the time, sometimes
yeah. And but loving people love people.
more.
Yeah. And loving people are hurt as well. But when we are loving people first, we love
Yeah.
people. When we're hurting first, we hurt people.
Mhm. So for me, what was the question? See, my brain just went away.
I know I'm so used to hanging out with people with ADD, so I just follow them. But you answered it. It's like, what do we think about this as psychologists? What do we think about this conversation?
I think it's a beautiful conversation because we are not talking about religion. We are not talking about who's right, who's wrong, what religion is evil, what is religion is not evil. We are talking about humans and humans feeling and how it helps us to heal when you believe in a higher power.
Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
and I just because I believe in God, when people who does not believe in God, I have nothing against it. But that's still a belief. You believe in something.
It's a belief system.
Yes.
And that's where we meet people in our work, is we meet in the belief
Mm.
systems.
We will meet in the belief system.
Yeah. And then you and I meet people in their belief systems from a source of love.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's how we can just be with somebody, and we don't have to fix them.
They don't. They actually heal themselves, right?
Yeah,
We
people heal themselves.
we show them, guide them, teach them strategies. They learn a safe space to be who they are in front of their therapist and counselors, and then they find strength within themselves, the aha
Yeah.
moment to heal.
Yes.
And we are in a privileged job, right? Like for me, like every single person that let us walk with in their journey, like their path is like a huge privilege.
It's like beautiful to see the uniqueness of every person
Mm.
and every human orientation and all the
Mhm.
nuances of their orientation and the beauty of their weirdness, and we're all
Weird.
weird and
Oh, although you and I are the weirdest of all, by the way. That's true.
we're quite weird. We're quite weird. Okay, let's say
All
goodbye.
right.
And I'm gonna put our contact info down below.
Yes.
And this is, you can say your full name, because I
All right.
can't say your last name.
I am Lena Santhirasegaram.
Yes. Registered psychologist in
Oh,
Alberta and Ontario.
in both places, and neurofeedback, biofeedback practitioner.
Which is amazing resource for mental health and psychological recovery as well.
Yes. And I will see you soon.
I'll see you soon too. And Lena, you endorsed my book too, that was another special
Oh,
part
your
of our
book was
friendship.
amazing.
Thank you. I love it. It's personally, I just think it's
Your audio
fabulous.
came out, right?
Yes, my audio came out in July. So,
Excellent. Excellent.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.